Well, well, well. It seems good old Boeing is in the spotlight yet again because of their goofy planes and their goofy. They're one of the companies that tend to try to cut corners just to, reach certain quotas. And again, most companies are doing this. I think around the point of COVID, companies are like, wow, we can actually get away with more than, we can. I mean, that people are allowing us to get away with more shit. So you have companies that use DEI as a reason to effectively fire people who've worked at the company for years and hire effectively a bunch of yes men. And if you talk shit about it, oh well, I guess you're just against diversity, huh? Right? You have things where companies do this thing where they set one shift against another. So when people are fighting amongst each other, they're less likely to go against the company and be like, well, so why are we working 12-hour days? Why aren't we getting paid? There's a lot of things companies do to sort of offset people from getting on their backs, but Boeing is a particularly odd company because you have people who've again worked at the company for 20 plus years looking at these things, looking at the company cut corners on their planes, and it's not like you do not see the effect. I mean, you had one of the doors of a plane blow the fuck out while they were landing, right? You've had a couple of crashes. Apparently, they used dish soap as lubricant on a couple of the things, and apparently, they're dragging all the spare parts out the fucking dump. So, you have people that come up and are like, well, this is what's happening, and I've tried to tell them, but then they, would either move me to another department or they would threaten me with legality if I come up with this stuff. So, and apparently, there's been whistleblowers mysteriously dying. Like, you had one whistleblower, and I don't remember the names. It's been a while. One of them literally right on a phone call with his wife saying, "Oh, if I die, I didn't kill myself." Only for him to pass away, then have a handwritten note talking about, going. And obviously his family's like, well, he wasn't a depressed person, right? You know? So it makes absolutely no sense. Oh, you have another one where apparently he died of, I think it was a certain infection or quick spreading infection, even though that whistleblower was one perfectly healthy. So you have these odd cases coming up, and people are now looking at Boeing like, what the hell are you doing? And you have people like Moist Critical talking about these things. And, I mean, now people are almost afraid to go on Boeing planes, right? Because look, if you're rolling the dice, right, and if it's a Boeing plane, it increases your mortality rate. You're not gonna want to get on one, right? Like, why would you? Even if it's like a point zero some odd chance, all it takes is one fuck up to place your life in jeopardy. And I also heard something like, where if a plane's going down, you're supposed to tuck your hands behind your neck Now I heard that is a effective. Like they do that so you can't sue them because you effectively snap your own neck. In the case of, you know, if the plane actually jolts or if it actually goes down, and it shows that, oh well, he died in this position, well, he must have snapped his own neck. Look, there's a lot of odd things that go on with well, companies in general, but I'm gonna talk about Boeing in particular. So now you have the chief CEO or chief admits the company has retaliated against whistleblowers, and this is to the fucking Senate. And the question is, what the fuck is anyone going to do about this? Boeing CEO Dave Colon acknowledged that the company has retaliated against whistleblowers. I know it happens, he said. I know it happens, he said. When Senator Richard Blumenthal asked if Boeing fired any of the employees who retaliated against whistleblowers, Collins said he didn't have the numbers, but emphasized that he knew that the retaliations has happened. So apparently, yes, like they absolutely retaliated against people who were like, okay, well, these planes, they're not safe. You know, they're not rated safe, and they're firing people for pointing it out, and hiring just effectively yes men to shut the fuck up. If this happens, this is all for the sake of, I guess, rolling in efficiency and rolling in the numbers. And I kind of put this video off because, well, what more can I say that hasn't already been said other than this isn't the first time things like this has happened, right? Like, you know how many people go missing on, like, cruises? Right? That's why I absolutely hate going on a cruise because it's fun maybe the first couple of days, but you're on the sea for like a couple of weeks, and a lot of fucked up shit happen on there, like people falling off the cruise and drowning, or people just going missing. I mean, it's a very odd environment, and I think, well, I'm not gonna throw any names out, but I will throw out the name of Boeing and how it's absolute crap. And it is self evident because apparently he talked to the Senate about it. And I doubt anything's going to happen to him in particular. Like, didn't he accept like a 40 something million raise? Right? He was ashamed to admit it. And it's like, well, CEOs giving themselves raises, that doesn't happen. That totally doesn't happen at all. But anyway, Boeing CEO admits he has never talked to a company whistleblower. I mean, you're the fucking CEO. Like, who do you talk to other than your small group that's on like a board? You know, this is the one true thing I believe he's talking about. Because again, Boeing's a big company and it's nationwide, and it's a multi-billion dollar American company that has planes worldwide. I mean, he obviously doesn't talk to anybody. Boeing chief stood up to face victims' families and apologized. I mean, it takes balls for him to do this. This woman looks like she's about to fucking clock him in the goddamn face. This guy, I'd be afraid of this guy right here, right? He looks like he's ready. For his own remarks, Boeing CEO stood from the witness table, turned around, faced family members of Boeing 737 MAX victims, and apologized. I'd like to apologize on behalf of all our Boeing associates spread throughout the world, past and present, for their loss, he said. One attendee responded, "You should be in jail." Collin returned to the witness table and began delivering his opening statement. Yes. I mean, that's also the problem. There's very little accountability. Like, he's the fucking CEO, right? Like, I subscribe to the Starship Trooper level of, you know, punishment, where the higher your position, the higher the punishment, right? Like, you're a CEO, you should probably be in jail. Like, that is your incentive as a CEO to make sure shit's being done and not just, sit and rake in dividends while apparently your own company's going fucking rogue, right? Boeing leadership changes look more like management musical chairs, Blumenthal says. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, that's kind of the way most companies do things. Like, rarely do people sit at a board for like more than 3 or 4 years. They're just swapped out to move into other positions, right? That's how it happened in the company I used to work for, or why still work for them. I just work in a different position. The exact same thing happened, right? They'd switch people out every couple of years, and they'll move to another department. I mean, again, this is done so you can't really pin down the blame on any one person. It's more the collective. Because, say, if the chief of safety, if they even have one, was in charge for the last 5, 6, 7 years, he would take the blame for most of these things happening, or the chief of inspection or whoever. I mean, that's just what happens. Common faces, families, demonstrators. Boeing CEO Dave Collin walked into an unfriendly room in a Hart Senate office building Tuesday. In a row behind him were critics of Boeing from multiple angles, family members of Boeing 737 MAX victims who hold photos of their loved ones, and demonstrators wearing Keflin and red paint on their hands. "Stop sending weapons to Israel," one person called out. "Make safe planes for commercial flights," exclaimed another. Kind of walked to the days at the front of the room and shook hands with Chairman Richard Blumenthal, a Connecticut Democrat. He then took a seat in at the witness table alongside Boeing's chief engineer. I mean, this isn't something you can really comprehend unless it's actually happened to you. I mean, it's one thing to look at this and feel bad, but it's another to be, holding the pictures of your loved ones and standing with it. Again, it's not something I can even begin to imagine. But, I mean, just being yet another CEO, he's probably going to do everything in his power to avoid, getting the consequences done to him. He's probably going to hire the best lawyers, or they're probably going to settle in it with an undisclosed amount out of court. But, I mean, that's just, unfortunately, though, how it goes. I mean, what do I gotta say about this? Boeing's obviously a shitty company, doing literally everything in its power to, I guess, raise the bonus that the CEO and the upper management does, right? Increase profit for the company, even if it's at the cost of apparently lives and at the cost of people with experience that has worked there. Because what I've heard is since the whole COVID thing, there's a lot of people who worked for like in the aeronautical industry that were about to retire and they're like, you know what, fuck it, things are getting bad, might as well leave while the going gets tough, while before the going gets tough, and they end up laying me off anyway. So, and at the wake of that, now apparently they're cutting costs, hiring yes men, you know, may or may not be offing whistleblowers, who knows, right? Wink, wink. But anyway, that's all I gotta say about this. Peace.